set up, but yeah, let's do exactly what you said. Let's go ahead and do a roll call first of the committee board members, and then we'll go around and do introductions both online and in the room. I'll start. Bruno Sabate, District 2 Supervisor, representing here at the Middle Creek Committee.
I'm Harry Lyons, represent the Resource Conservation District.
I'm Joe Velasquez, the brand new president of the Lake County Land Trust Board.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Hello everyone, it's Pawan Upadhyay, Lake County Water Resources Director.
Michael Vidar, Water Resources Program Coordinator for Middle Creek.
All right, and then we're going to go online. I see we have Heidi. Sorry, maybe you want to stay hidden, but you're here, so introduce yourself. Or maybe you're busy doing something else. Let's go with Holly Harris.
Oh, hi. Is my microphone working? I couldn't test it.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. So Holly Harris, I'm just a resident of District 3, and I'm here because for years I've been interested in getting trails going over in Middle Creek.
Okay, let's go ahead and go to DWR. We have Nahide.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nahida Madanko with DWR, managing the grant from the state for this project.
Thank you. And greatly appreciated your participation from both you, and I think Elizabeth was there as well in our last meeting. That was really good information.
She's
Elizabeth,
here today too.
Good morning, Liz Bryson with DWR, overseeing the flood corridor program.
Thank you. And then we have Betsy Kahn.
Betsy Kahn, the Essential Public Information Center, Upper Lake, California. Good morning.
Good morning. And that's all I see on the screen. There's no one else?
Yeah, I think that's all.
Okay. Let's go ahead. And so we have quorum because we have 4. And you said that you're going to try to make all the meetings. Is there someone else from Water Resources that would take your place if you don't come to the meetings? Just checking in for quorum purposes.
So in that case, like I have to still think, but probably I think Michael can represent me in that case.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. All right.
Point of administration, please. Is the automatic start of the recording? Are we on for
yeah, so I think it should be Heidi. Heidi, can you confirm if you can hear us, or I think you have to unmute yourself.
Nothing came.
And you can't do the record from where you are because you're not running the meeting itself.
Yeah, normally it's we do
Yeah.
it from there. Should I just go and confirm there?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a minute or so so we can record. No, that's a good thing that we want this. We want this recorded.
Position for a whole 4 days.
That's pretty good.
It's
Still here.
Exactly.
Oh,
I want to discuss what you volunteered me for last time for the Board of Supervisors report.
so I was a good person. Would have come better prepared. I wanted to create questions of what we need from Water Resources so that you don't have to ask for those things. It should be provided, and that way you can create your presentation based off that. Because I think there's certain things that just are obvious questions.
I've already warned him I'm going to be bugging you.
It's not bugging.
It should be consulted.
I'm here.
It's obtaining information that is useful to the project we're working on.
Yeah.
That's required for the coordinator.
I don't need to add it as an item. I just want to know what the time frame is.
I think let's do that.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, Heidi. Could you please
Um,
hit record?
Juan wanted me to introduce myself. I have my
Yes.
microphone on mute, so you didn't have to hear everything that's going on in here. But I'm Heidi Price. I'm the new admin for Water Resources. And I just wanted to let you know that everything in the room is being recorded now, so I can transcribe it later.
Excellent.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, thank
So
you.
The recording has started.
Yes.
All right. We're going to move on to consideration of any items not appearing on the posted agenda. So there's been a request from committee member Velasquez to have a conversation about the upcoming presentation. And since that will occur in the next meeting, let's go ahead and add that towards the end, because no action will be taken, and we'll figure out the coordination of that. That way we can get some questions written down of what we're looking for to present to the Board of Supervisors and to the public. And also make sure that she understands the expectations of how long the presentation should be, things like that, simple things like that. And we'll get to the details later. So we'll add that right before public expression, so in between 12 and 13. Please remind me in case I skip right over that. We're going to move on to board actions, meeting minutes from December 1st. Long time ago.
Yeah.
And so I do have a required change out of respect for my colleague. I know I saw it once. If we can make sure to spell Crandell instead of Crandall. It's ELL. I'm sure he would appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That was my only notice. And are there any other changes or additions or deletions to the meeting minutes? Welcome.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm sure you guys will be glad I was talking with Senator McGuire, who's running for Congress.
Excellent.
I hear none. So far, we're going over the meeting minutes. We are fixing your name.
Thank you.
And see, I knew you would like that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've never seen that before.
ALL?
ALL. So I'm gonna pause before action and just check in with the public. Yes, Dr. Lyons.
It's nothing on the minutes. The minutes are correct. It's just that Angela asked a question and Fernando answered another question when we were on the Army Corps. We can bring this up later, but the minutes are right. It's just that I have some question about his answer. So maybe we can deal with that later.
Good, because I
Yeah.
was confused.
What
at
happened
you
was
talked-
after you asked for a refund, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, so after you asked for a refund, Angela asked how much of the validation study was accomplished. And then he gave an answer, which I believe was an answer about the entire design process. Because he said 15%, and I can't believe that this validation study is only 15% done after $750,000. So essentially, it's not. The trouble is, it's not a mistake in the minutes. It's just a mistake. Just a mistake in his answer.
So let's go and make sure to talk about it during item number 8,
Yes.
because I
Yeah.
agree with your concern.
Yeah.
And we need to get a little bit better of an answer.
Yeah.
So I'm going to open up for the public. Any public comment on our meeting minutes before moving forward? Please raise your hand with the hand function. Seeing none, bringing it back to the committee for action with amendments to the name. As amended, there's a motion.
Yes.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a second. So just in case for Heidi, motion from committee member Crandell, and then, Crandall.
They both
I
work.
was thinking about the
They
spelling.
both work.
And then a second by Dr. Lyons. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're going to go on to project area parcel acquisition, 4.1, updates and next steps. And I'm going to ask you one more time to reintroduce yourself to make sure that EJ is well aware of the new addition to the team.
Hi. So my name is Michael Bedar. I am the program coordinator.
No.
We have a dedicated.
I'm gonna brief you on some things. Yes, thank you.
One at a time. We all want 20 minutes with this guy.
On his fourth day.
We're excited about it.
Can't tell.
It requires a lot of
We're very subtle.
processing of whatever it is that we're working on, whether it's part of the property acquisition, working with Army Corps. There's just a lot to it, and having somebody dedicated to it is outstanding.
Wonderful.
Here to work with you.
Yeah.
There we go. Thanks.
I don't know whether we shared this thing before, but
I don't believe I got the presentation. All I got was the meeting minutes and the agenda.
To the screen.
I think the way it is set up, we might not be able to share because right now it's that thing which is sharing, not this laptop here.
Can I see what's going on your laptop?
Yeah, so you have the presentation here, but because I think it's not directly connected with the screen there.
So we can't share it with the public?
Can we ask the public if they're seeing the slideshow at all?
No, they're definitely not, or else we would see it.
If we join this time,
Where's the IT guy?
let's see. Yes, we can join this meeting, and now we can show.
And mute everything, the microphone and your laptop.
And yeah.
To use the audio.
Can you, okay, you're muted. Can you turn off your sound on the keyboard itself? Like off entirely. Hello, hello? We off? Are we off now?
Is this function?
With function.
Are we off? Keeps going through. Steal this for a second.
But that's
Let's try that. Can you guys still hear us? Online, can you hear us?
Yes, yes, we can.
Yes.
All that matters.
Okay.
Now let's share. If you want to share this, and then we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it.
I believe I just heard somebody say they can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, we were on number 4, project area parcel acquisition. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Every day is a new tech issue.
I think is it slow or something?
It's not going to slide 4.
I mean, what's it?
Stop sharing and share from slide 4. Maybe I did the wrong thing. Maybe instead of share what I shared, share the program or the window.
Desktop is sometimes share desktop.
Sorry, guys.
I think it might be laptop.
Oh, there's multiple.
Let's see.
We can go from that. That's good enough for me.
Okay.
Number 4.
So I think so I will probably give an update on this. So right now, like the last update we had on this one was the 4 properties which has been approved by board for the just compensation. And in the last meeting, I think we had the request to add the APN numbers, acres, and the amounts.
Yes.
So we have it here. And out of that, one of the property, also the board just approved it for the property purchase contract, which is like the final stage of it, which is like the Coker property. So it's going through its final round.
That's the red one?
That's the first one. You see 70.7 acres, 650,000. And the first one, and then the below 3 are the one which was approved for just compensation, but we are waiting on property owner to do the next step, which is basically agreeing and signing the sales documents. Once they agree with it properly, it will come to the board, and then Once board approves it, then the next steps start for that. And right now, as of today, like Monument has informed me that they are actively working on at least one of the three properties. So there is a possibility that we can hear anytime about one of them.
So two of them have not had the offer to them yet?
They have the offer. They agreed for the appraisal and everything, but they are not in like either active communication or so have not shown the active interest that they would like to proceed
Okay,
at this time.
but they all three have the amount.
Yeah, they have the amount, they have the documents, and they know that the board has approved the just compensation for them.
So the actions in their, well, it's
Yes.
in their lap.
In their court, yeah.
Can you explain real quick the last part? I think you explained it, but I think it went right over my head. A second property is actively engaged with Monument and has demonstrated strong, what second property and what is that? Does it have to do with any of the ones above?
Yeah, it is one of the three. You
Okay.
see the three items there.
Do you know which one?
Because I see two properties on at least each one. So when you say a second property, you mean an additional property?
A person. So it should include the whole.
Okay, so it's soon to be 5 instead of 4.
It's soon to be 2 in the first.
Yeah, so 2 in the first, 2 in the second, and
There's
then 4,
another Coker property?
not Coker. So the Coker one is done with this one.
Yeah.
But the next person, like who owns, he owns maybe 2 parcel at a minimum, because the other 3 all at a 2, 2, and 4, I believe. So if that person sells, I'm guessing probably they will sell both of them. So I don't know which one is that one.
But it's one of those.
It's one of
Okay,
the
okay,
three.
so that's what I needed to understand. Is it's one of the ones or is it additional? It wasn't.
Yeah,
very
no, it
clear
is
to me.
out of these 3. So that's why like it's almost everything is ready. As far as they agree, we can move forward.
Okay, so two owners have offers and they have not responded yet, if they accept them or not. And one owner has said they accept it and it needs to go to the board next for the.
No. So the one who have accepted, which is Coker, they are willing to move forward with it, and the board has approved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Right.
what's the next step?
So the next step is, I was just informed that they need the original signature, because I think we had one digital signature or something. So I need to provide them a original copy, maybe request chair signature again.
So wet signature.
Yeah, wet signature, and then once it's provided, probably, so we provide to Monument, but at the same time, I think probably they will reach out to DWR or something for the setting up the escrow account or like making those payment. Yeah, so it should close out sometime soon.
Yeah, they need a notarized signature for
Right.
property acquisition too.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, it's in the final stage, so probably it will move forward from there quick.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll see activity happening on these next 9 that are listed. I believe it's 9, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 9. Because we proved that just compensation, I want to say in October or November.
Yeah,
I forget when it was.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to make sure we move before, I don't know what the timeline is for an appraisal to last, but I also want to just spend the money and get these properties.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further questions on this? And I'll open it up for the public when we're done with the item 4 as a whole.
And then we have a 4.2, which
Yeah.
is related with this, but next one. So are we good for 4.2?
Yes.
So I think that was another request from the last time, that we also provide the APN and the acres for the non-willing seller. So these are the list like which was provided in the previous meeting as well. And I think there was a letter which this committee approved, or in principle, like saying probably it can go to the board next,
Yeah.
but it was just sitting on my desk. But because we have Michael here, so probably we will move that forward.
Yep. And that's where we want to do a presentation to the board,
Yeah.
and to the public, to give them an update of where we are,
Yeah.
and everything that we're working on.
And I think the thing in the box is the one which we generally have because this came out from the previous meetings, and then it's just like good to have just as a reminder kind of thing. Nothing new there.
And it's understood that the non-willing sellers is a very dynamic thing.
Yeah.
They could suddenly wish to sell to us, and others who were willing sellers could suddenly change their minds and become non-willing sellers. So it's a dynamic list. It's not a static thing at all.
Yeah. And I think that's all for item number 2.
So
Sorry, item number 4.
So I'm gonna mark Coker as done just because it's basically on the last
State.
portion of it. There was 9 total properties left that we approved for the just compensation. You're working through the whole agreement with the owners to eventually come back to get moving on the escrow. So that's 10 properties. Then we have 4 properties potentially on the non-willing sellers list. How many properties are left?
So I think that's the thing which we were reviewing. We got to that or
total number left would be 21.
And that's after the 10 are taken out? Or does that include the
Well,
one?
that is after the 10 are taken.
Okay.
And how many owners? Sorry to pepper you.
14.
And we'll give that a approximate since we're putting on the spot, but I think that's good information to continuously see shrinking the number of properties still that need to get worked on and get purchased, and the amount of owners that we need to work with. And I guess part of my reason for asking the question, and I know that we're in a bit of a bind with the Army Corps, but is there, especially with the new flood map, any need for any other property when we eventually redo this design of where is the entire project scope?
I think as I remember, like seeing those flood map, most of the time I think we are acquiring the whole parcel, because that new flood map was all the way to Highway 20, and earlier, like not the whole 20 was part of that 100-year floodplain, but all the parcel we have acquired till now, it seems like we are covering all the way to the Highway 20, because nobody has sold or like we have purchased, which is only partial there, which would have been problem now. But I'm not sure like if I confirm about all the way through, because I think it's a very northern part of that Middle Creek boundary that which was the cut off from that 100-year floodplain. So I have to check whether that covers or need to be included. But yeah, I think I agree. The Army Corps need to be involved in that and see if anything changes in overall boundary, or do we have to increase the scope of?
And I get that the money that we have could only be used for what is in the original scope. If there is a need to expand, the money couldn't be used, but it'd be nice to get a better concept of if we have to or not.
For one thing, it'll decrease the lot line adjustments we need to do, which will save time.
And we talked a lot about partial acquisition. And so I don't believe we ever did a partial acquisition. We talked about it, but it sounds like that's off the table because let's just make sure we get the whole property and then we'll figure out the rest later on.
Yeah, that's there. And at the same time, I think there would be some part in the design that need to be incorporated. Suppose if it is not possible to acquire certain parcel because it's like a developed area, like already being like at some point probably if somebody has developed it, they are not willing to sell it. But as part of the design, whether it's putting a levee or like a berm or whatever that is, or raising that particular area, need to be incorporated in the design. So even though it is 100-year floodplain, but it can be adjusted.
So that's up to the owner.
So I think if we are flooding that area and that's going to affect them, it might be the project addresses that, or like I think we can dive deeper into that like once we reach there, but that should be definitely be incorporated in the design.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask a bunch of other questions. I apologize. It would be nice next time we meet, if possible. I know you're new and I don't want to add a whole bunch on stuff, but I think money is an issue and we'll talk about that later. It would be nice to know what are the 21 properties, how many acres does that show? What have we been paying per acre? I know that's not a static number either, but just to get a concept of how much money are we missing to complete this acquisition process? Because I know, I'm sure DWR will say we're in conversations of seeing where we can move some money around with the current funding that we have. But do we even have enough within the current funding to move stuff around to finish acquisition? That's something we probably should get started on sooner than later.
Yeah.
I believe 2028 is our deadline for spending this funds.
Yeah.
It would be nice to get the process started this year if we're going to be looking for any kind of funding extensions, because it takes time.
Because the Middle Creek, I'm not sorry, the Blue Ribbon Committee had projects in need of funding. Cecilia added money to the budget to do that. I could see a parallel here for the next.
They want to make a healthy lake. This is the way to make a healthy lake.
So,
Okay.
precisely.
Then the last part, I guess I've never gotten a good answer to that, and that's not because of us. I think that Army Corps wasn't quite sure how to respond. And again, when looking at the project area based on the flood map, there are some parcels that are going to be owned by some of our federally recognized tribes. Now, I've learned through the process, I didn't know this before, the things you know or don't know, that federally recognized tribes, when they have trusted land, it's not necessarily their land, it's actually federal land that has been approved for them to utilize and whatnot. I'm probably butchering that a whole lot. But because the concept of doing a job with the Army Corps is we are supposed to acquire all the properties, pass it over to the federal government, then the federal government does the project, then it gives it back to us when it's done. I just want to make sure that the federally recognized tribes we're collaborating with them so that we can say, but you already have these lands in your hands, the federal government. So when we give you the other lands, it completes the project rather than suddenly being stuck. And I mean, I think one of the worst things that could happen is us saying we need to take over your land just for temporary status. And I just want to make sure we figure out what land within the project are tribal land so that we can deal with that question much sooner and make sure that we get some sort of answer from the Army Corps, because that is one that I've never received a good answer. I don't want to acquire it, but at the same time, the Army Corps hasn't really told me what happens. And I think there is a way to make that possible where it's almost like we're together on the project. It's all in the federal people's hands to do the project. But again, nothing has been identified to me, so I just thought I'd bring it up.
This relates to that. There are government to government meetings going on. Is the county involved? Could Michael be involved?
I know that the Army, and you're talking about the Army Corps.
Yes.
I know the Army Corps was meeting, doing tribal consultation or just tribal meetings regarding this project. I don't know if that's continued, because we also used to have meetings with the Army Corps. So I don't know if everything has stopped or if they continue. But there was, when we had our meetings all together, tribal leadership was also at those meetings, or the right tribal personnel were at the meetings when we were engaged. Then there was just the tribal meetings on the side. And EJ, I don't know. I know Army Corps stopped meeting with us, and they stopped meeting with the tribes as well. Like everybody's getting the same
sent stuff. And I think they do meet with the EPA director or the transportation director. But I think they have still their standing meeting. I can, matter of fact, I can reach out and see who's,
Would it be possible for a new program coordinator to be part of that?
Yeah, I mean, we can ask, if they'll let them, but, that's up to the tribes. But I'm sure they wouldn't have an issue with that. I don't think they would, because it would help.
It's in coordination and collaboration.
I think they would be okay with it. If they're still having it. I'm going to look on my calendar because I have another calendar that might show it.
Okay.
I think those are all the questions that I had, at least for now. Yeah.
So I had a question. There are 21 leftovers. And how would one describe these owners? They know that the project's coming. they received letters that, that their land, they're open for purchase of their land, but they haven't responded.
This might be something for Michael to bring back next time.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to know about these 21 leftovers. What's their status in terms of what they know and what they've done so far?
And I would talk more about the 14 than the 21.
Yeah.
Because to me,
Yeah.
if you're a non-willing seller, it's not that you're non-willing for one property. You're probably not willing for all of your properties. So
Yeah.
4 out of the 14 appear to be non-willing.
Okay.
And I don't know what that does to the 21.
Yeah.
And those that appear to be non-willing are different than the 4 that we know are not. Is that true?
There were some that just never responded, but you.
Yeah, this is something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You might find a job.
The map, if we can get an updated map also to show us what is acquired, what is in process, and then what's left over on the 21, and then maybe even a split between willing seller and non-willing seller. That way we can have a little color coordination to see what we're looking at.
Yeah, and then the map online could be updated too. Yeah, because that's pretty old. That's so nice.
And if appropriate, it'd be nice to know which parcels that are within the project area also are tribally owned or in trust. Just so that we know that, yes, it's there, but we're not making any effort to acquire it because it's already acquired.
Okay.
I'm gonna open it up for public comment on this. Holly.
Oh, hi. I just had a short question. I'm not sure that I heard it earlier or not, but how many people are still living over there, if any?
That would require relocation.
So out of, let's say there are 21 parcel, right? So roughly I'm guessing 10 to 15 parcel, like which has a home or like some kind of residence.
A lot more than I thought.
Yeah.
There were, I was just curious, there were, I think 2 people that were living over there by the large center parcels. And I was just wondering if they were still there rather than the ones along the highway.
And does that include?
I think you would have to give names to make it easier to answer that question.
Okay, that's no problem.
Unless you
Thank
know.
you.
Does the 10 to 15 include Glady Island?
I will include all, yeah, whichever we have to acquire.
Because there's that one portion on the side, right, that they talked about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Oh, I did find that they do still meet monthly, so the next one I'll send to him, so just to go, yeah. Okay, that way you can go and just be a part of it, because I'm not sure if everyone even, I see the list, so I'm, yeah. Get you to it.
Thank you for that. We're gonna move on to item number 5. Bodanopati.
Yep, Bodanopati.
And it's my accent.
Oh, yeah, you can, yeah.
5.1 update from ad hoc committee, discussions on next steps. I know we're in the works of purchasing the southern piece, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I have communicated that to Monument. I'm not sure like whether like what progress they have made yet.
Okay, but the northern piece is the one that we've pretty much either hit a wall or they're willing to sell, but it's kind of way out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other updates?
I don't know.
Okay.
Is that northern one still listed as for sale?
So the southern one is the brother, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so the northern one is the sister who's really staunch on the amount she wants, I think, or something like that.
Mhm.
And also, I think the northern as well as the higher up grounds.
Yes,
Well,
yes, it has a higher, it is the island.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's
Yes.
buildings.
That's the northern one.
And then college.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, any questions from the public on item number 5? Okay, moving on to item number 6, DWR update and correspondence. Go on.
So from DWR, I think so last time it was brought up about invoice 1717A, which was not directly related with the biochar project, but it was brought up. I think we have resolved it, so I think we have received the payment or make the processing of it. That's one thing. The other thing is like I'm in touch with them about like what we need to do for, because we at this point, especially after the Coker property, we have to make some adjustment or use the contingency funds, which is about $1.1 million. Even though we have communicated, but we have not made anything formal because I think it's not needed yet. But I'm gonna update Michael on that, and probably he will follow up and make sure that whatever is needed is taken care of. And I know I had some communication with DWR in the past that where they said like they might have some funding available, but I have not sent out any official or anything. But moving forward, I think we will be following up a little bit more closely on that.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have a question about the biochar. I was looking for something else completely unrelated. Board of Supervisors, I saw that they had they had withdrawn their request for a permit. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that the lease is still something they bring up.
Yeah. It does. Like I mean, they keep asking in all
They
the
want to
meetings.
to do what?
No, I think probably that's the board has to take some action on that, like what gonna happen to the lease.
What's being asked is to kill the lease.
Oh, they'd already.
Because, and that would be from the community. I don't know that Scotts Valley is asking specifically for that to occur, but Scotts Valley pulled their project, so the project no longer exists. The community wants to kill the lease to make sure it has no potential of coming back.
I didn't realize they'd already leased it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a couple of years back.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
If Pawan was the director then, it probably wouldn't happen.
Possibly. Any other comments from the committee on that before I open up for public? I see I have a hand from Betsy Kahn.
Thank you, Bruno. The question about the property that was proposed for the biochar project, the question at hand was whether or not a conservation easement had been created by the Department of Water Resources or Watershed Protection District or the county when they purchased property in compliance with the requirements of the funding for the Middle Creek Marsh project. So that question still remains, whether the project has been rescinded by Scotts Valley Energy Corporation or not. We still need to know that.
And so last month's meeting, we got a really good answer from DWR, Department of Water Resources at the state level. I'm going to paraphrase, so please correct my statement if it's incorrect, that yes, it is in our contract and our agreement with them that we would eventually put on a easement, but there's no specific timeline in placing that easement. So currently, we are not in breach of the contract that we have, but prior to the project moving forward, we absolutely need to do that easement restriction because that's part of the expectation to make sure that there's a conservation easement on these lands that we're doing restoration on. We're not doing restoration so we can bring back industry and other commercial activity. But there was no given timeline of when it has to be done. There was talks about that we can do it in one bulk group, or we can do it one at a time. It's really up to us when we do that, but there was nothing that DWR saw as a breach of the agreement that we had with them. But yes, 100%, before the project moves forward with Army Corps, it does need to have that conservation easement.
Okay, and then related to that is the question of whether the property will be cleaned up, which was an issue for the community of which I'm a member, because the property was transferred to the Watershed Protection District ownership, but the area around the small section that was going to be developed had not been cleaned up and protected for the wildlife corridor and so forth. Is there any consideration being given to completing that responsibility?
So I do know that we have maintenance dollars and we've used maintenance dollars to deal with multiple issues within the Middle Creek project area. And so I'm sure it's on your radar because you've heard about these things. So if you want to respond to what your plan is or what the responsibility is.
Yeah, so I think we have done some maintenance out there, and I know probably that's not enough or like as requested by the community. So moving forward, we will be doing more of it, and especially because we have a dedicated person here now. So I think it would be like a little bit more streamlined. But at the same time, we don't want to spend down all the maintenance dollar right now because right before the project would be implemented, there would be some cleanup which is needed. So we do want to keep like a balance between how much we want to spend now and also between the actual
Because
implementation.
if we have all those lands with buildings, residents on them, they all need to be gone, right?
Yeah, so for that, we do get like a separate line item in our budget thing.
Okay,
But like as soon as we purchase it, we do get some for maintenance, which is specifically for cleanup basically.
okay. So
But
that's separate from
yeah,
decommissioning.
it's separate from that, but at the same time, that's a fixed amount, like maybe 15 to 20%
Right.
of the purchase price. Definitely, I think the structures or somewhere where it is like I know a couple of locations where it's an issue for the levee access or like the levee maintenance as well. So
Okay,
that would be like our first line of attack, saying we're gonna make them like come as like one project, and whether it's fencing, the structures which lies on or encroaching on the levee, probably they will be taken out first, and then. So I think there were like a complaint about, let's say, 40 acre of parcel, and there were like some lumber or some pipes or something laying around, which in like if you think about the size of the property is not as critical as because people dump stuff out there as well.
Yes.
So suppose let's we clean up everything, spend down all the dollars, and then we have to do some maintenance or right before the project, which when the project is implemented. So I think we do want to keep like some balance of it, but moving forward, there would be more maintenance than it has been in the past.
And I know for some of the buildings, you're, from what our conversation has been, you don't want to do it one at a time. You're looking to do a full bulk of hiring somebody. Here's the project scope. You have this property, that property, this property.
Yeah.
Get rid of the buildings all at once. It's a much more economical.
Yes.
I'm going to try to use your terms here. It's not cheaper. It's economical. To do it that way. That way we don't have to do individual contracts and just one thing at a time for them to position themselves to be able to do those.
Yes.
Do I need-
Betsy,
Do I need to
was gonna
file a
ask if that helped
complaint?
respond.
Do I need to actually file a complaint to
Uh,
code
you can-
enforcement to ask for, to have that done? I mean, this has been going on since the time of the purchase, which is many years.
So I think if you have something specific about any specific location, because we are talking about hundreds of acres of parcel, so you can reach out to us and we can look into that. But if you're talking in general, I think if it is that has to wait. I mean, we can't just go ahead
Okay.
and clean up like 200 acres of or like even more with like a short-term planning.
I'm only asking for those people who were the opponents of the project. I'm not personally concerned about it. It's not, not affecting me, but the community members that were attempting to try to protect the waterway and the wildlife corridor and the watershed impact on the Rodman Slough wetlands and so forth, who had been trying to get that cleaned up for a long time. I'll just let them know. Thank you very much.
And I know we're being recorded, but I feel the need to respond. I would almost bet that we have not gotten a complaint about that, and that a lot of complaints came to try and kill the project, more so than truly because of the concerns that people had in general before anything. If it's a problem, we need to take, if it's a problem, we need to take care of it, absolutely. And so I think that if the public wants to submit something to code enforcement, if they're seeing something that's a nuisance, I think we should take care of it. And so that I would just follow the general process, but I'm willing to bet that general process has not been followed and that things were just brought up to try to find any reason to not make this project move forward.
I don't disagree with you, Bruno, by the way. I'm in favor. I was in favor of the biochar project. I was just asking as a question of what steps could they take so I could let them know. Thanks.
Appreciate that, Betsy. Let's go on if there's no further questions. We are on item number 7. Speaking of project area property maintenance.
Yeah, so I think we already touched on this. So as I said, like moving forward, we will be doing a little bit more than what has been done in the past. It's more about like having somebody dedicated and doing all this coordination, I think, which we were lacking from our department side. But I think moving forward, we can definitely dedicate more resources towards it. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think there was
7.2 is recreational destination proposed idea.
So I think it's Holly's item.
Yep.
Like and I see she's joining us online. So Holly, can you give us an update on this or what it is about?
Okay, so I think I brought this up, it was last June, and then it was maybe in August or something like that. But originally, as part of the Konocti Regional Trails, we had opened that Section B Middle Creek Nature Area under Lars Ewing's direction. And we had maps, a brochure, et cetera. And sometime during the, the interim between when that happened, which was 2018, 2019, it got shut down. Anyway, the Konocti Regional Trails, we had always wanted to get connections between Upper Lake down to like the Nice Lucerne cutoff. So we've been following this quite a bit. And we currently have a water trail that runs up Rodman Slough. This is something that's very important, and this could be segments. We don't propose, taking gates down. We just talk about passive recreational where people can walk, hike, bird watching. We feel it would be a major boon to the North Shore. We have letters of support from the Worth, which is the Western Region Town Hall, which this falls under, and Earth, the East Region Town Hall. We have letters of support from the Tourism Improvement District and Redbud Audubon Society. So anyway, I just want to re-bring this back to the table to see if we could look at some way of easily reopening these things. We know that or creating things that would not be an issue. We know that the whole concept is to flood a lot of this down in the future. This could be a way of bringing to the public, talking about it. It would just be a major boon to our to our economy up there if we could do that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
So thank you for reminding us all of the original time that you brought this to us. I think that you had pretty unanimous support that this is something we want to, it's an area that we want to preserve, bring back to its original state. And we don't want it to be something that just hides. We want it something that we can share with everyone. And I would suggest working with Michael and seeing where we can go with that and whether that needs to wait for further acquisition and further capabilities, or if that can happen sooner than later. That's going to be up to what you find and the hurdles or restrictions that you bump into. But that's what I would suggest from this group, because I don't think there was anybody that was against moving forward and making sure that KRT expands its trail system into an area that is obviously a natural preserve of sorts.
The only question I have is, my understanding is none of this impinges on unwilling sellers.
That's why I'm saying work with Michael to make sure there's no restrictions, because we don't want people walking around on private property and making sure of all those things.
Yeah, correct. We very carefully went through all of this, and none of it is on any property that's not already been acquired by the Middle
Great.
Creek area.
Great. So at the same time, I think there are some like access issues, especially because it includes levies and
Yes.
the section B and section A where you see like that's mostly the levies. And I think Holly met with Linda and did a site visit as well. And she did raise some concern about like why that might be a concern as well for DWR. But I think it would be up to DWR to provide that access or like whether they even allowed or not. Because normally for levies, that's an issue because we don't want like people to be on the levies. And that's why like they are most of the time kind of fenced off or closed out.
Is it a liability issue?
Yeah, it would be a liability issue. And also, I don't know, like they might have other issues as well. I don't know whether it's DWR the same team who are joining us here today, but I think our plan is to set up a meeting with DWR and the trail group and the department. And moving forward, probably Michael gonna be like coordinating that thing as well.
Yeah, we would love to have a meeting like that. And just so you know, most of this is not on the levees. It's on the service roads that are next to it.
I'm going to let Michael speak. He's been trying to jump in.
In the short 4 days that I've been here, when I spoke with Linda about this, the word inundation kept coming up, which was that we need clarification on the service roads being at an elevation above the inundated wetlands. So
I think
Yeah.
I look at it as it's going to be many years before it's inundated. And in the meantime, that's why I was looking at it, that this all needs to be revisited when we actually get a plan from the Army Corps of what's feasible, but we don't even know what's where. So at this point, if it's going to be 5, 7, 10 years before we get work done, why not let people enjoy it in the meantime?
So we're talking actually in a phase before.
Potentially tomorrow, potentially
Right.
2 years from now, potentially after the project is done.
Okay, so there's space.
But I think that you're going to have the best eyes and understanding based on your conversations on what's feasible, what doesn't create liability, because we are nervous about the levees not being in the best of shape. So if there is access to the levees, is that perfectly fine? If they're not in the best of shape, is there the potential for erosion while somebody's walking out there? I mean, worst case scenarios, right? But I think that in your conversations, you'll be able to figure it out. And I apologize.
Oh yeah, I'll have conversations like this with you further on.
Couple of things too is that like just had this been like, because I know like 10 years ago this was proposed, they'd probably all still be walking on it right now had it been back then. But the thing too is the MA-17 fees that are coming out of everybody's taxes are essentially supposed to be paying for the repair of the levees anyhow in that area. So I mean, I think if we're worried about the liability, I think there's a way to connect the state to it since they're collecting those fees anyhow, or they're collecting the fees and we're obligated to fix it or something like that, right?
So this portion of the thing, I think there is directly maintained by the state. So this section, so there are sections like which is maintained by Watershed Protection District, and then there are certain sections which is directly managed by them, and that's where I think this one is the area where they directly manage it, and that's why we can't give them say yes or no to that because it is them who has to agree on whether they allow it or not. Yeah.
Yeah, this is MA-17. So this whole thing is maintained by the state. And I wanted to add that there are people walking there. There are people bird watching there. There are official groups, the Audubon Society and classes and whatnot. So the public is using, there is precedent that the public is using these levees.
They just haven't been formally invited in the way that this is proposed.
Yes. And so this is exciting. It's always good to get permission for what you over.
Sooner or later.
Yeah.
All right. I see a hand from somebody. Is that Betsy? Is that your hand from before, or is this a hand for this item?
Oh, sorry, I just forgot.
Okay. I know you have interest in everything, so that's why I was wondering if you just put it back up for more. All right.
You're so right.
Let's go on to Army Corps of Engineers and validation study status update, as well as the cost share balance summary. And we just received the cost share summary, I believe, is what we received. Am I correct on that?
Correct.
So if we can go ahead and just speak to it. And since we did receive something here in person, if we can also make sure and explain it to the folks. Oh, it's up. Never mind.
And I think since Army Corps is not here, I think probably Michael's gonna provide an update, quick update on this.
As a quick update, and I catching up. But of course, I wasn't here when the Army Corps was here last.
You get 2 weeks to say that. That's it.
Even longer, you want to stay.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But this appears to be a letter that information that was requested from the last committee meeting. And just on the table, it's difficult to read maybe, what we have on the cost share balance summary. I'll read the paragraph before that. This letter, 2 paragraphs, to Mr. Ewing. This letter provides an update to the financial status as put forth in the design agreement, or DA, between the Department of the Army and Lake County Flood Control and Water Conservation District for the Middle Creek Flood Damage Reduction and Ecosystem Restoration Project, executed on November 8th, 2004. The DA stipulates a 75% federal, 25% non-federal NFS cost share split for this phase of the project. During the December Middle Creek Project Committee meeting, county representatives inquired whether the Army Corps could return funding the county has provided, meet their portion of the cost share stipulated in the 2004 design agreement. Army Corps will not be able to return these funds as they have been requested to match Army Corps expenditures and be in cost share balance. If the county wishes to terminate the design agreement, any future agreement would likely be cost shared at 65% federal, 35% non-federal, as noted below. A current financial overview for the project balance sheet with project expenditures and received funds is attached as an enclosure. The table below summarizes the information in the balance sheet. So total cash, total of $1,799,732.85, of which $1,387,399.85 is federal, and $412,333 is non-federal. Most of that is project expenditures, and brings the cost share to $1,244,247. I don't understand that lucidly right now. Yeah. Which makes available funds $106,665,000 total. Federal 54,000 change and non-federal 52,000 change.
There are available funds that they had plans to use. And so they weren't going to move forward on the project.
As noted, go ahead.
These, I believe, are the available funds that they wanted to do a couple of steps. There were 2 things they wanted to do. One involved SHPO, the State Historical Preservation Office. They wanted to get a program agreement with them. There was one other on the ground bit of this that they wanted to accomplish, and I believe that is what they want to do with that 106,665. But I don't know for sure.
So I don't understand. I'm going to explain it because I just did the math. Project expenditures, I'm not quite sure why it breaks it down with 1,299 and then 359,000 for non-federal, because when you do 75%, it is exactly 1.244. So it sounds like they may have spent a little bit more and then they readjusted it so that it was back to the 75-25. So I would say ignore the project expenditures. That is the correct total, but that is not an appropriate breakdown of 75-25. And then
So the expenditure that says
the 1.244, the 1.244 million for federal, that's exactly 75% of
So we should
1.658.
we should ignore the 1,299.
Yeah,
That would be what the parenthetical, I guess, in the red, 54,811.
yeah,
Seems to be the difference.
that appears to be so. We still, I mean, we put in a lot more money than this. We got some money from, Thompson, I think it was 750.
Yeah,
And then we had also put aside 800,000 of our cannabis dollars
but
just to make
that's
sure.
still in the county, right?
That's still, I mean, we've been paying for our share throughout this whole revalidation study process, which is why I said, well, if you're gonna shut down the project, can you pay us back? What I'm hearing is the project is not shut down. It is on hold.
Yeah.
If you wish to remain on hold and try to reactivate it, we can preserve the 75-25 because that's, I guess, grandfathered in, for a lack of a better term, that's how we started, and they will keep their word on that. But it sounds like the U.S. Army Corps has changed it to a 65-35. So if we cancel the project and start again when they're ready, we would be now utilizing the 65-35 and basically lose and throw away everything that we've already done. It doesn't say all that, but that's what I'm seeing between the lines. And so I think we need to continue discussions with Congressman Thompson to try and make sure that this comes back. This is the most important project for the entire county, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm hoping that with the new districting, maybe we can get two those
Yeah.
types of.
Yeah.
So what was in red on the original? It's not red on the black and white. Did you say this?
I said in the red, meaning just in the back.
The negative 54 in parentheses. Because it said that we expended
Not seeing
349.
anything in print. That's why I'm asking.
On the very first page, you see.
Oh, okay.
The cost share balance, third line.
Okay.
The letter continues to making a request to come.
And I mean, this is not your letter, but I still don't understand the available funds. If we're saying total cash was 412, but then we spent 414, how do we have 52,000 available? That's not here nor there at this moment in time. I think the general statement is what we just need to hear and understand. And I think we just need to keep communicating with the U.S. Army Corps, letting them know that this is still a high priority. We'd like them to get back, and it sounds like they're still doing something if they are actually meeting. It may be on the books to meet, but maybe they don't. If they don't, then that's even more worrisome. But if they are meeting, then
It
good.
does say district leadership would like to make a trip to Lakeport to meet in person and discuss the progress of the validation study.
Let's make that happen ASAP, not tomorrow, but I think that we need to, respond in a positive right there. And then this is just a breakdown over here, the opposite side.
Seems like a paragraph at the top of page 2, kind of what you inferred. Do you think, as noted in the previous update, if the project is awarded a new start, move into the construction phase, cost share will be adjusted to 65%.
Yeah.
So Edison manifest will.
That's the wrong direction. Wrong direction. I'd love for it to go to 85.
Yeah.
We could.
Yeah. Fernando to invite him to the meeting to become busy.
Then we have, okay, I think we covered both of those topics.
Yeah.
I do see Nahide wants to speak.
Oh, hi. I just have a question. Maybe was it Brad from the Corps about this item number 8? Are these costs for design? What's left of design, or?
It was for the validation study itself and what they were working on, which eventually would lead to an updated design. And
Okay.
This came from Cameron Sessions, the acting chief programs and project support branch.
Okay, so is this from the beginning to end, or some work has already been done? This is the balance of what's left to complete the study?
So we never got an exact amount of what it would take to complete the study, correct me if I'm wrong. But they've spent 1.3 approximately, no, 1.6 million total, almost 1.7, which means they did work. They're just not done with the work.
Okay, so excuse my ignorance. So the validation study basically has to be done to justify the need for the court to get involved. How does that work? I'm not familiar with validation
So
study.
part of the validation study was because the previous study was done so long ago, they needed to renew and make sure that there was still good reason to spend this money through the Army Corps, through the federal government. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. And to basically update the design based on maybe new environmental concerns, new environmental perspectives. I'm sure in 2004, we weren't consulting with the tribes in the same way that we're consulting now. So things have changed and they wanted to make sure to update it in the appropriate ways before we spent the money. I will say, I'm reminded, the reason we put $800,000 to the side is we were always given a number of $3.2 million to finalize the study or finalize the design. And so 1.7 million out of 3.2, maybe they're only halfway through the process. If that 3.2, which was from a long time ago, and it's probably a lot more now, if that 3.2 matched what they were attempting to do in the revalidation study.
Oh, I
hope
see.
that helps.
So let me see if I'm getting this correct. So some design was done. It's been so long, so now you have to go back and validate that work before moving
Yes.
on with the design. And the total design cost at the time was over 3 million, estimate?
Yes.
And
Okay.
just to add to that is, I think the last validation study they did, one is like it was long back, but also from the previous meeting, I'm recalling that they also said somewhere that it never reached the finish line. Like they were like 95% up to that, but it didn't made it to their official approval kind of thing where they say like now it's done. So that's another reason why this validation study has to be done, or like
Oh,
approved to their like higher ups, like where they say now it's a done deal kind of thing.
okay.
That's correct.
Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
correct. I wanted to say something more to help you understand this. The validation study is not the same as the design. The design of the project is the 3.2 million. The validation study was to complete what wasn't completed, as Pawan said, for the facilitation or the feasibility part of the project. So they were working, the validation study primarily was trying to get the National Environmental Policy Act requirements finished so that the Army could publish something called the record of decision. And so there's all this paperwork. And so most of that was done in the validation study to get it refreshed. And then there's the general design, which is the 3 million. But in our conversations with the Army Corps, there is this confounding of the two. And so we have some of the design done and some of the validation study done, but neither of those is completed. And so one of Michael's jobs as a coordinator is to figure out from the Army Corps where we are on these two very distinct phases of the project, the feasibility phase and the design phase, because we have been very good and conscientious in finding funds to contribute to those two efforts. So so I can make no sense out of the money, but that's not anything unusual for me. But that's the other thing. What are these money? What does this money matter? What do these figures relate to? And to make sure that that we're on the level with the Army Corps, and they are very patient, and you'll find them helpful. But they are slow. They're very slow.
My understanding of the validation study, they were looking at it to see if they needed to start over again, because I remember we went around and took a vote on whether they would want to start over again.
Right.
Our consensus was they were going to want to start over again.
which they do.
which is why they call it a validation. Is it a valid, is what they designed that long ago still valid under today's conditions, including the fact they didn't include the drives very much?
I do have a question for you. And I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name, Nahide. I am wondering if DWR would be in a position to ever provide a letter of support when we're talking to the Army Corps to share the importance of a lake, which is, I think I'm correct, a state water that we are trying to protect, and therefore a letter from you guys to share with the Army Corps to say we really need to continue this project and keep it going and get it done would be really helpful. And it's not, I don't want to put you on the spot with a yes, you can, no, you can't. But I think that we need to maybe submit to you an official request and then go through your process to see if that's a possibility. But I think that would be really helpful to have the DWR support in asking the Army Corps for what we need.
Oh, I'm sure we could consider this, but I'm going to defer to Liz. She might have a better picture on that. Liz?
Thanks, Nahide. I personally, I don't see an issue with it, and I believe we have provided letters of support in the past for various projects, not necessarily Army Corps of Engineers projects specifically, but absolutely send the letter requesting it, and we can run it up our chain and see if we can provide that for you.
And so, Pawan, if I may, if we can get Michael to make a request for that letter so that when we do meet with the Army Corps, here's a letter. Let's show you the project. We have the state behind us.
Yep. What might be an approximate turnaround from request to letter delivery?
Can I add something before going back to Liz? What would help with that letter if you give a synopsis, a summary of what has happened with the Corps? Because I think that would be a further, they keep asking us questions. I've even had Central Valley Flood Protection Board reach out to us to find out about the Corps activities on this project. And I'm always kind of like not quite sure if I have the right information for them. So that, I think, Liz, don't you think? I think it would be helpful to have a status summary of activities with the Corps so far and where you're hoping to move to next. Liz?
Yes, as much information as possible. Assume that we are fifth graders and we don't know anything about the project. It's usually the best way to get what you're looking for. So that's my suggestion. And I'm sorry,
project put down in very simple terms. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
We do. So those that'll be, making this decision, they are familiar with the complexity of an Army Corps project, how long these projects typically take, but just assume that they have maybe heard of the name Middle Creek Project, but not any of the background and history, especially given that it's such an old project. And as far as turnaround time, I would say a month would be a reasonable amount of time, but I'm guessing it could be a little quicker than that. I don't want to overpromise.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I see no hands, no further comments. I'm going to try to speed through a little bit more. Next is PG&E.
Not so fast.
Let me go back.
I think the key to this and what the DWR needs is in these numbers. Okay. If you can crack these dollars, if you find out what each of these means, I can give you the history of it going back to 2012.
Army Corps Whisperer.
Yeah, and I think having dealt with numbers, it is time to reverse. Okay? This is my limerick for the Army Corps to wrap up our discussion of it. The Army Corps' role is extensive. Their procedures near incomprehensive. When progress is blotto, remember their motto. We're slow, but we're expensive. The sense of the nation weighs too. No path through the Congress leads through. They don't give explanation. They don't fund restoration. So we'll press without rest till they do. Thank you for your patience.
Where's the guitar?
You didn't want a guitar, I didn't expect it.
By the way, meet Dr. Lyons. If you ever see him do a presentation, just know you will get a song at one point and you will laugh.
That's bad.
Have you heard acronym song?
No, I don't believe I have.
Okay, so go ahead. I'm
And
sorry.
maybe to explain everything, he is from New York.
I'm from upstate New York.
Okay. All right, I said too much. We're gonna move on to PG&E. At this moment in time, no updates.
Yeah, no updates on that. And I have updated Michael about like what we need to do next. So
Okay.
I think maybe in the next meeting we might have
Okay.
something.
Okay. Good luck getting answers from PG&E. Next, legislative, obviously, we need to
Yeah.
have that conversation with Thompson about the Army Corps. I'll be seeing him at the end of the month
When you go to the NACO.
when I go to NACO, and I can bring it up then, or we can ask him to be here when Army Corps shows up.
That would probably be good. And I need to ask him for a couple things as it is right now, so I'll put a bug in his ear.
Okay.
And then also, just a reminder that when I met with McGuire today, I mentioned this project extensively and that we would need help with it. And, he's willing to talk more about it, and I'm pretty sure he's got his, he's obviously represented us, but, I don't think he's been so involved with this situation as much yet.
Yeah, because the state's been good to us.
He still represents us right now.
Right, so I just reminded him that when he steps into this role, we're really gonna need some help with that, so.
Absolutely. Any questions, comments? All right, moving on, project funding.
So I think these are the updated numbers. I don't think there is much change yet. Until we have the Hooker property one, there might be some changes to that. But in this, you can see like want to bring the focus to the acquisition cost, which we mainly use for property purchases. So if you can see like the total amount we have in the equation was 8.9, and out of that 6.7 has been used. And the property we are talking about right now is 650,000. So it comes to like 7.4 being utilized. And then we are left with about 1.5 million after that. And the three remaining properties we have is definitely more than 1.5. Like it's about 2.5 or so.
Mhm.
But in the contingency, we have 1.1. So if we move that thing to property acquisition, especially because now this round of funding is coming towards an end. So we should be able to cover all the purchases we have or has been approved by the board as just compensation, be covered by this grant. But we will come to know more once we have an approval from the property owner, because there is relocation and other things as well. But yes, I think so. That's the status in there. And
So I appreciate the whole efficiency and do everything all at once, but there's an awful lot of money in groundwork right now. Then we don't have enough. Do we have enough time to use that money up if we wait until the very end to do anything with homes?
I think groundwork, at least for maintenance, like these funds get transferred to our accounts, and then we can.
I don't want to give anything back.
No, so yeah, so I think what I'm getting at is like even if the grant gets over, we will have those maintenance dollars.
Okay.
So I'm not sure about the groundwork thing, but definitely. So that's another thing, right? We want to, if we are not able to utilize it, we should request that to move to the property acquisition, because that's where we would be able to use it. And then in the next round of funding we get is like we can add a little bit more towards the groundwork just to cover on this one as well.
Yep, I agree. We don't want to give any money back. We want to use as much of that money as possible on acquisition. so that we can drop that 21 down to as close to zero as possible before we have our next ask.
Because my understanding is with the new flood zone, there's property with homes on it that we can't purchase with this money, correct?
I think we can.
Oh, I misunderstood you for the beginning.
No, I think we can. We just won't be doing partial acquisitions anymore. And any property that has people living there, we also have to deal with the relocation, which just complicates things to a little bit of a larger degree, but it's what we've been doing the whole time. So,
Okay,
nothing says we have to do a partial acquisition if the flood zone stops at a specific area. We were just trying to figure out how to save money
Right.
because
Okay.
we knew it would get tight.
okay,
So
I understand better.
unless anybody wishes to correct my statements that I just decided were sounded very confidently correct. I think that's the where we are with that. And
Okay.
so, yeah, we don't want to give any money back. We want to move money around to basically be able to acquire as much as we can, but still be able to do the other processes at the same time. And so hopefully next month we can come back and have an idea of what DWR has said to the team.
Yeah, and that's one part of it, but the other part is also up to the property owner, like if they have to accept, assuming that the four which the board has approved, like the property owner gonna accept the offer, then only we will be able to utilize at least whatever is remaining here. But if they didn't accept it, there is a possibility that we might have to ask for an extension just because we don't want to lose the one which we have right now.
Right.
Yeah, and then probably more like adding more to an extension because this is obviously not enough.
What's the current end date again?
I think it's June 2028 or
Yes,
something like that.
that's what I remember.
Yeah.
Boy, when we first got it, they said absolutely no extensions.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's a motivator, but it doesn't mean it's.
And then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And everybody went home.
I'm going to pass this on to EJ. I apologize. I had a meeting put together for me at 12. And so we're up to Caltrans, item number 12.
And so yeah, that's one thing too. And I know it's going to be probably have to be on the next agenda. But I commonly have a conflicting meeting every first Monday, and I can't convince the other group to change their date. And so it starts at 8:30, but usually ends like at 11. So that's why I'm always like, today's like today when we had Senator McGuire there, I'm like, I don't want to. But I don't like leaving you all at this juncture or whatever. And I know too there was discussion about maybe having alternate areas to meet at and stuff like that. And I think it might be something we can look into. So I don't know if on the next agenda maybe we could talk about another time that might work, and then other places that we can rotate to.
I am very flexible on Monday mornings. That is not when I have the majority of my meetings. That would be mostly Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, Mondays are good for me. It's just the first one is this.
I was going to maybe look at a different
I'm
Monday.
flexible.
Okay.
Mary Jo, you have my email address. I will not ignore that email. Please email me. I hope you have a good discussion about the extra item that we added.
Okay,
But I'm happy to help in any way, shape,
Okay.
or form.
thank you.
Sorry, I have to leave.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Very good to meet you as well. Look forward to further engagement.
Caltrans, any updates on Caltrans?
Yeah, no update from our side.
I haven't had anything with them either. So anybody on Zoom have any questions about this item? All right, next we will move on to public expression. Anybody that wants to speak about this for 3 minutes, on Zoom?
No, we're going to discuss.
Yeah.
Board of Supervisors. I asked for an added item.
Oh, okay,
Because last meeting,
okay.
that's what Bruno was apologizing because I'd emailed about it. He'd forgotten to.
Oh,
respond.
okay. I will go back and then we'll go with, is that non-timed items though?
No, he said I wrote it down, I said between 12 and 13.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do the Board of Supervisors and I'll let you.
Yeah, well, Bruno, at the last meeting we had, Bruno said that there needs to be an annual update to the board, and he volunteered Harry and me to do it, and Harry volunteered me to do it. So, which I'm perfectly comfortable and happy to do, but But we've already, now that we have Michael here, I can work with Michael on
Okay.
data. And I said something about maybe work, once Michael gets settled in before our next meeting, which is two months from now, that maybe he could come back with a sort of a framework for what we need for the presentation to the Board of Supervisors. So it's looking like it's going to be late spring or summer for that, which is fine. I just, what I emailed Bruno said, okay, I need data. And when this is supposed to take place? So I don't know. That's my question. I don't know if there's a set time of year that the board expects.
I don't think there's any set
Okay.
time of year. It's just.
We could just
as long as
take-
we get one.
As long as we make it, my thing is, I want everything to be complete and correct before I talk to them.
No, I think, and considering we now have a project,
Exactly.
yes,
So-
director, we have someone that can work. And again, I've never had any feedback or any type of press to have one of these,
Okay.
We've usually been the ones either on the committee or before Harry and Peter would just, ask.
So I
to
was
be-
part of those.
Yeah, and you were probably part of those too. And so those would come annually, but they would, navigate in between. And so it's just a matter of us pushing it out there.
This nebulous thing I need to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, well, and so let me know, I guess by the next meeting, what projection you might have. You said this might be June or May or June.
I'm assuming if we have our next meeting in April,
Yeah.
and then we
There you go. Yeah. And then maybe we can do it in between April or June, or are you thinking?
yeah, I think we can.
Either or, I mean, we could push it back and meet me, but just getting a good time frame,
Right.
getting in the area where it might be.
But I have been keeping track. There's my policy. And that's why I asked for the APNs, because I have spreadsheets.
And you can reach out meanwhile as well, because I think the next meeting is 2 months away. Like if you need
Right.
more information in between, we can definitely
Yeah,
provide.
last was middle of August of 2025, so I need to, things are now moving again, so I want to get the update. Okay,
Sounds good.
sounds great.
All right.
Moving it.
Anything on Zoom?
Email you after this meeting.
See a hand up. I can't tell who that is.
Brad Hayes.
Brad, did you have something you wanted to add to this?
Yeah, are we at public expression? Because I kind of missed my maintenance.
Yeah,
earlier.
let me close this. Let me close the BOS and now move on to public expression, and you can go ahead and start.
Okay, perfect. You guys can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I had a couple quick questions. I know there's money and all that for maintenance, but do you guys have a maintenance crew? Or would you contract the maintenance out, or do you work with like the county road departments? I'm talking about things as simple as mowing existing roads so that I can access, because quite frankly, right now, time is of the essence, and I cannot get to sources that I need to check for mosquito larvae, and it's going to become a public health issue. And I mean, I just don't know who to contact, who's going to actually bring the tractor and mow. And there's some things that I've filled in. I mean, I need like a backhoe type thing to clear existing, ditches from when there was wild rice farm there that have now filled in, and water's backing up. A lot of people don't realize that mosquitoes, it's not just in the spring and summer when they come out and start biting you. Our biggest portion of our workload is this time of year because the larvae are already, they're doing their thing. So I'm just wondering, is there something in place like that? Do you guys have a crew, or how does that work?
So, we don't have like a dedicated crew just for that, but like we do have staff who can take care of that. And I think you should have received an email from us, like if you check your email, asking like more information or setting up a plan together. And I'm aware of it because this has been brought up before. And we can definitely help with mowing or providing an access up there.
Excellent. Yes, and I emailed back to that also. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
so
I
we
don't-
will follow up on that and make sure like whatever you need, like we can provide that.
Okay, excellent. Yep, and then I'm done then. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? We got next meeting, non-timed items, next meeting scheduled for April 6th at 10:30 in person at the Lake County Courthouse, room C. Right here again, we'll do the teams. It's teams, right? That's what we're doing. Yeah, we're doing teams. And so we'll see you on that. If there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for your work on this. And hopefully we'll have some progression at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.